Hey everybody, Danny Maude here. Thanks for joining us. Have you ever found yourself out on a golf course and you've hit a few decent shots and then you hit a few dodgy shots with what you feel is exactly the same swing? Now, you think you know what it might be, so you try a few different things, they don't work, and then you end up down a rabbit hole of just try this, try that, and it becomes very, very inconsistent. Well, in this video, I want to give you a framework that will help you diagnose what's going on in your swing so that you can start to fix your problems much, much quicker whilst you're out playing on a golf course. And look, you won't have to remember a thing. I will put a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. Okay, great. So what we're going to do in this diagnostic is we're going to cover 3 phases. The first thing we're going to focus on is basically, are you aware that the club needs to travel on an arc? Or more importantly, is your club traveling on an arc? The second thing, is it a body thing? Is it a structure thing? Is your body supporting this arc? And third and finally, the third diagnostic is are you controlling the club face, or is the club face all over the place, arriving open, arriving closed, those kind of things. Now, we'll cover them one by one and I'll show you how to feel each individual stage. So the first thing is this. When you're taking your setup, we know that the club needs to travel on an arc. The club doesn't go straight back up here and straight through. It works on an arc. Roughly, if you look at this here, not up there, not around there, roughly about 45 degrees around the body. So as simple as it sounds, make some swings with each individual arm, drawing the shape of your swing. Back, around and up, back down to the golf ball, and then look back around. I know that sounds basic, but you know what? Most of the time when people are swinging all over the place, it's because their club is literally moving all over the place without them realizing. Do it with both hands, your lead hand back here, back around into impact, then through. Even during that simple exercise, you may start to feel, wow, that feels a bit different. My club's normally round here, or my club's up there somewhere. So just make some motions and join the hands together, okay? And just picturing the arc of the swing going backwards and forwards on roughly this 45-degree plane. Simple as that. But is it simple? Second phase of this process, so you can just spend some time doing that. But the second phase is this. Your body needs to control this, it needs to support this structure. So what do I mean by that? Well, look, the next thing is when you're out on the golf course and you're struggling, is it because your body is moving all over the place and not supporting this beautiful arc? So an example would be this. Take a club, put it under your lead arm like this. Hold the club face like this, and what we're going to do now is this. If you don't move your body correctly, so let's say for instance I turn my shoulders very flat, very level, where's that going to send the club? Around. If I tilt them too much or slide here, where's that sending the club? This way. We want to get the club where? Working up this way on this arc. So as I move this club backwards here, my body structure, my movement is supporting this motion. Can you see that? My shoulders are naturally tilting here. More importantly, I'm actually, look, moving this lead side, because what I often see when people are really messing up on a golf course is they don't support this arc with their torso. What they do is they do it, look, with their arms. This exercise here, where you just put the club under your arm here, is a great exercise to sense how the whole body needs to support the club working back, not just the arm. You can do exactly the same, look, with your trail arm too. Leave it in there, backwards and forwards, and notice this, I'm not rolling the club face, we'll come back to that in a second. I'm literally controlling the whole motion with my torso. Once you've got that sensation, you can simply start to make some swings, just imagining the same thing. Look, my whole torso, look, is supporting the motion all the way back here, all the way back to the ball, and then all the way through. Now, once you've got those first 2 feelings in play, what you can do is you can now start to diagnose the first part. Now, a recent student of mine, Leah, who has sliced the golf ball quite badly, he was able to identify that his lower body and his body weren't supporting this arc. They were actually rigid, they were very, very still, which meant all he did was literally hit with the arms. So he started to allow his body to support the arc on the way back. His ankles, his knees, his hips all started to work to support the arc on the way back and on the way through, yeah? Another client hooked the golf ball. He slid on the way through, right? And then when he slid on the way through, does that support the club coming back around on the arc? No, it doesn't, yeah? So starting with those first two, feel the arc first of all, then ask yourself, is your body helping to support that arc all the way back and all the way through? If you're moving around all over the place, you will probably identify that it isn't, but that's great. Now you can practice. And just finishing on this section before we move on to step 3, you can imagine almost like an axis here running right down the center of your body. If you're moving all over the place, it's going to be hard to maintain an arc around that central point here, all right? So you're centered there, working it back around. Look at this here, there's my axis, 1, 2, looking after my spine all the way. I'm not moving up and down all over the place, yeah? These kind of things here, simple things, a great way to diagnose whether you are making some errors. Now, before I get into 3, which is super, super important, I did notice that 60% of you are watching videos like this and not subscribed to the channel. So if you do love this type of content, please do consider subscribing so I can look after you again for the rest of the year. So going into step number 3, you're controlling the arc, you're controlling it with the body structure. Fantastic. The third thing to consider, if that's all working good, but you're still not hitting a good shot, are you controlling the club face? And the club face is super simple. You've got to make sure that you have a pressure on the face, pressure on the arc. Let me show you what I mean by that. A lot of players, when you're swinging here, are literally taking the pressure off. They're rolling the face away. I'll probably show you with a tennis racket as a better visual here. Put a tennis racket against my club here. I want this club face look to keep completely under control. I've controlled it, I'm not rolling it around. If I put my hand here, I've got a pressure down on that face. Now what I'm going to do here, look, I'm going to literally keep that pressure on all the way to the top. So my palm of my hand here, I've got pressure going this way, still a pressure, still a pressure, still a pressure. I'm supporting the club face all the way to the top. On the way down, look, I'm going to keep the pressure on that club face all the way down to the bottom. Imagine if I did this, which so often people are doing. Take the pressure off. Now I end up kind of chopping at it. What do you notice about my hand? There's no pressure on the face. I am literally dragging it down. As I'm dragging it down, the club face look is wide open. And what am I going to do here? I'm going to probably slice across it. That's your slice. Oh, right, last minute. Oh my God. Flip it. So the hands have to suddenly rotate. So how can you feel this? Just imagine here, take my grip here, make sure the hands, you've got decent grip, this top hand is nicely on the club face, not underneath here, can't put pressure on the shaft that way. Literally keep it on the shaft, all the way back, pressure. Still got it, look, pressure as the palm, this is important. The palm is moving to the ceiling. As the palm moves to the ceiling, what's happening to the butt end of this golf club? It's going out towards you. This is super important. Why? Because as I'm moving my palm to the ceiling, this is helping me, look, get the structure of the body too, to support this motion. If I didn't get the palm going to the ceiling and I just did this, can you see how this becomes just handsy, armsy motion? I am not supporting this beautiful arc on the way back. Now again, just if you see any of the top players on TV, you'll see them doing all kind of weird stuff with their wrists, like almost we call it bowing on the way down. Why are they doing that? Why? Because look, they are putting a pressure on the shaft. Look at that face now. It's pressure down onto the golf ball. If I didn't have this and I did this, the face is wide open. Now what I'm going to have to do, flip it. Or if I don't flip it, I come across it and I get a big slice. So play around with this. Get yourself set here, whether it's your lead hand or your top hand, doesn't matter. Feel at some stage you have that pressure on that shaft, still got the pressure on the shaft, all the way down into impact. Then start hitting a few shots from there. So in summary, you've got 3 things to diagnose when you're out playing. Is it just a conceptual thing? Have you got an arc with the club? Simple as that. Is it going on an arc or is it looping around? Spend some time feeling it, yeah? If you've got the feel of it, then ask yourself, is your body supporting that structure, the whole thing? So your feet, your knees, your torso, are you working it around on this arc here? Are you jumping ahead? That's going to shift it off the air. Is your body supporting it? Just learn to get a sense of what your body's doing. Most of the time, I love the visual, it's just a simple axis running straight down the spine, visualizing this motion going right and left. Super, super simple. But what can throw all of that off is the club face. If your club face is approaching open, you're going to have to do weird stuff with the body. So sometimes what I do is I go to the club face first. Club face, simple, remember, keep the pressure on the face. Simple exercise, palm to the floor here, work it to the sky. You'll notice when I do this, by the way, my palm's going to the sky here, this elbow is going outwards, it's not going inwards. This is a problem here, yeah? Palm to the sky, look after that face. Then, keep that pressure on. The best players even get almost the wrist bowing here. Why? Because they're putting pressure on that face on the way down. From there, just simply rip straight into that golf ball, okay? Spend some time working on these things and they will help you start to diagnose what specific areas you need to focus on and therefore improve. So I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with one of your friends. And of course, look, if you're new to the channel, come and join the community by pressing that subscribe button and the bell. And remember, there's a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below, so you'll never have to remember a thing. But until next week, have a great golfing week.